How the Supreme Court student loan decision affects you, by the Associated Press. The Supreme Court has ruled the Biden administration overstepped its authority in trying to cancel or reduce student loan debt, effectively killing the $400 billion plan, which would have canceled up to $20,000 in federal student loan for 43 million people. Of those, 20 million would have their remaining student debt erased completely. The court's decision means, barring an act of Congress, those Americans who are on the hook for payments starting in October. Still, borrowers who are worried about their budgets do have options. For instance, the government has other loan forgiveness programs that are still in effect. Even if Biden's plan was struck down, Biden also on Friday announced additional efforts to bring relief to borrowers. When will student loans payments resume? Student loan payments that have been frozen for the last 3 years because of the pandemic are set to restart in October. That was going to happen no matter what the Supreme Court decided. Interest will start accruing September 1st. How should I prepare? Betsy Moyet, president of the Institute of Student Loan Advisors, encourages people not to make any payments until the pause has ended. Instead, she says, put what you would have paid into a savings account. Then you've maintained a habit of making the payment, but you're earning a little bit of interest as well, she said. Moyet recommends borrowers use the loan simulator tool at studentaid.gov or the one on TSLA's website to find a payment plan that best fits their needs. The calculators tell you what your monthly payment should be under each available plan, as well as your long-term costs. Catherine Welbeck in the Student Borrower Protection Center recommends logging onto your account and making sure you know the name of your servicer, your due date, and whether you're enrolled in the best income-driven repayment plan. What if you can't or don't want to pay? Hours after the Supreme Court decision, President Biden announced the 12-month grace period to help borrowers who struggle after payments restart. Biden said borrowers can and should make payments during the first 12 months after payments resume. But if they don't, they won't be at risk of default. It won't hurt their credit scores. But details about this plan have yet to be released. After that grace period, if you're in a short-term financial bind, you may qualify for deferment or forbearance, allowing you to temporarily suspend payment. To determine whether deferment or forbearance are good options for you, you can contact your loan servicer. One thing to note, interest still accrues during deferment or forbearance. Both can also impact potential loan forgiveness options. Depending on the conditions of your deferment or forbearance, it makes sense to continue paying the interest during the payment suspension. Are there any other programs that can help with student loan debt? If you worked for a government agency or a nonprofit, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program offers cancellation after 10 years of regular payments, and some income-driven repayment plans cancel the remainder of a borrower's debt after 20 to 25 years. Borrowers should make sure they're signed up for the best possible income-driven repayment plan to qualify for these programs. Borrowers who have been defrauded by for-profit colleges may also apply for borrower defense and receive relief. These programs aren't affected by the Supreme Court ruling. What's an income-driven repayment plan? An income-driven repayment plan sets both your monthly student loan payment at an amount that is intended to be affordable based on your income and family size. It takes into account different expenses in your budget, and most federal student loans are eligible for at least one of these types of plans. Generally, your payment amount under an income-driven repayment plan is a percentage of your discretionary income. If your income is low enough, your payment should be as low as $0 per month. If you'd like to repay your federal student loans under an income-driven plan, the first step is to fill out an application through the Federal Student Aid website. How can I reduce my costs when paying off my student loan? If you sign up for automatic payments, the servicer takes 0.25% off your interest rate, Moyet says. Income-driven repayment plans aren't right for everyone. That said, if you know you will eventually qualify for forgiveness under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, it makes sense to make the lowest monthly payment possible, as the remainder of your debt will be canceled once the decade of payments is complete. Reevaluate your monthly student loan repayment during tax season. When you already have all your financial information in front of you, can you afford to increase it, or do you need to increase it? Moyet said. Break up payments into whatever works best for you. You could consider 2 installments per month instead of one large monthly sum. Is there any chance for another loan forgiveness attempt? Biden's administration plans to pursue student debt collection with different legal justifications than the one struck down by the Supreme Court. The White House hopes to provide relief instead by using the Higher Education Act, a broad federal law that governs the student loan program. Exactly who would be eligible and how much would be canceled will be decided through a federal rulemaking process, but that process can take months or even longer, so this attempt at cancellation won't come quickly. Biden's new legal justification for broad debt cancellation takes the same approach long proposed by Senator Elizabeth Warren and borrower advocates. It uses a provision of the Higher Education Act allowing the Education Secretary to compromise, waive, or release student loans. It's the same basis the Biden administration used last year to forgive $6 billion in loans for borrowers who were deceived by their colleges. The details of the new forgiveness will be negotiated through the federal rulemaking process the administration launched on Friday. The process, which takes many months, allows the Education Department to write or change federal regulation that carries the weight of law. But there's no guarantee the plan could survive another legal challenge. The Higher Education Act has been used to cancel debt, but never at this scale. Education lawyers for the Trump administration concluded in 2021 that the Education Secretary does not have statutory authority to provide blanket or mass cancellation under the act.